Yo, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to Swish Life Garage, and today I'm working on the Del Sol again. If you guys saw my other vlog, I did take out the transmission and I showed you guys how to exactly do that if you were, basically doing it in your driveway. Today I'm actually going to be showing you guys how to take out the engine. I'm going to actually be taking it out a whole different way I've never done before. I'm going to be taking it out through the bottom using the vane engine stand that I had bought and reviewed on one of my previous videos. Now I know in some of these clips when I'm taking out the engine and trying to work on some of the wires, the hoses, and just get everything disconnected to take out the engine, it doesn't have the best view for a camera just because the camera is on a tripod and you can only position the camera a certain way. You can't really get into there, and plus when I'm working my hands are very dirty, so I'm not really trying to grab my camera. But if you guys could just follow along, I'm pretty sure you guys might have some questions. Just drop them below down in the comment section. Now, like I said, this is a completely different way of taking out an engine. Usually I take out the engines with a cherry picker through the top of the car just because I don't have a lift. I'm not at an actual shop. Maybe eventually in the future when I have my own place and everything I could get a lift. But as for now, I make it work. But let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright, so if you guys saw my last video, I did take out the transmission to the Del Sol. Now I'm going to focus on getting the engine out of here using the vane engine stand. If you guys saw, I did an unboxing review of that. As well, I'm going to follow up with that actual review of actually using it, taking it out of the car. I will have a separate video for the stand review with the use of it. As you guys could tell, the transmission is pretty much completely out of here. I already have it right down here below. I'll show you guys that just in case if you didn't see the other video. Alright, so we still have the Del Sol here on jack stands, and I do have the jack supporting the engine just to kind of make it the way it should be, so it's not just kind of hanging in there. But I do have the old transmission here, so now I need to focus on taking out the engine. I'll pretty much just take off what you could see. You do have some electrical connections. You got your radiator, you got your rear radiator hose, you got your fuel line, you got your motor mount, your lower motor mount for the AC as well. I do need to take off the AC compressor as well in order to make the vane engine stand work. Watch for your ground cable, your power steering. Like I said, just check your electrical connections and your coolant lines. Just going to take off any vacuum lines that is connected. It's pretty much a real easy process from here since we already have the transmission portion out. So let's go ahead and get started on that.
This is a Chucky Beat production.
Alright, so yesterday I did take a lot of parts off, and yes, the engine is hanging pretty dangerously by one mount, but that's not really the issue. I did take everything apart, took out the AC bracket, took out the alternator and the alternator bracket, the brace underneath to the intake to the engine. Took that off because it does kind of route the wire harness. Just made sure that all the hoses and everything connected to the engine is pretty much off. I don't really know how to explain that to you guys, but just, you know, look all around the engine, see if anything is attached to it, and if it is, take it off. The other thing I did take off is the rear mount bracket. So, you know, the engine is going to drop straight down. I can't have that mount bracket in the way. So over here, here's all the parts: the intake, the AC compressor, the AC bracket, the alternator bracket, rear mount bracket. Let me see, took off the lower mount by the AC that's connected to the bracket as well. If you guys could see, that would be the mount right there, that lower mount. But yeah, everything taken off, downpipe taken off, and it's all good to go. If you guys see down here, I do have the vane engine stand bolted up. So this leg right here is going into the AC bracket, and there is a supply bolt. This leg over here is supposed to go to this hole in the engine, but on mine it's just tapered blank hole. I did let vane stands know, and I most likely am just gonna thread some threads in there, just a few, so it could hold. But as well, in the package they didn't supply a long enough bolt, which is not really a problem. I'm not trying to bash vane stand or anything like that, just letting you know the issues that I'm coming into with this. But you know, luckily I do have the skill, I do have the know-how, and I can fix this. And if you guys see over here on the alternator bracket, another leg does attach to there, and then where the that's where the bracket for the intake that I was talking about would attach. If you guys see right there, that's where it attaches to. And then up on the intake, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's two other holes. You could kind of see the bolts just hanging there, but that's where the other end of the bracket would attach to. But these three bolts are tightened up. I'm gonna see about possibly trying to thread some threads in that other hole right now, but to be honest, if I don't have the right tap for it, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a bolt in there for the meantime, so at least it's supporting something, it's supporting some weight. But let me see if I could go ahead and thread it right now. Alright, so I did attach this other leg back on, and I do have a bolt there that is used for the transmission. It's all the way inside of that hole there. Of course, I could always thread it whenever I do have the engine completely out, but just to let you guys know, do this at your own risk if you are doing this. So yeah, that's just something to note on for using this engine stand with the Z6. Alright, engine completely taken out. Here it is, the engine bay. Had all these radiator hose. You got the heater hose over here, goes on the side of the head. Got another hose that goes into the back. Here's a vacuum hose, another vacuum. I believe that one was for the fuel pressure. Then the vacuum for the booster, and then of course you do have some electrical connections, and then the harness that runs through the back engine brace right here, so that gets in the way, so that's why you have to take all of that. And then the power steering, and as you guys saw, I did have the one mount that was holding the engine in, and that's what really released the engine to allow it to drop down. Here's the engine on the stand, and there is a little New York rat. See, you got the electrical connections and the radiator hose, heater hose. And then on the back of the engine, as you guys can see, there's the bolt that was for the brace, and then there's the two other bolts right there that the brace would be on. Electrical connection, I believe that's the knock sensor. Then that's where the alternator bracket would be at. Up on the intake, you got the connections for right here, right here. I believe there was a vacuum. Where's the vacuum? Oh, this was the vacuum right here, which I had to cut because it just wasn't coming off. Another electrical connection right here. And then connections on the top. On the injectors, you gotta take off the fuel rail, the pedal, the acceleration cable. But like I said, just look at your engine all around. Well, alright guys, as you have seen it, I took the engine completely out. If you guys had seen, I did put the jack stands on some 4x4 wood that I had in the backyard, and it allowed me to lift the Del Sol high enough in order to bring the engine out. It was just high enough, to be honest. As you guys have seen, I had took off the driver's side wheel, the rim and tire off, and turned the steering wheel all the way to the left in order for the caliper, the brake, and some of the suspension to get out of the way so I could roll the engine right out. Now, I didn't exactly get to thread the hole in the engine block. If you guys had seen that tapered hole that didn't have any threads, like I said, I did let Vainstand know, and they are aware of it. They were saying that the Z6 engines don't have that hole threaded, but supposedly the other D series do. But the main thing is that, you know, I got a lot of the engine bay work done. Now the Del Sol is able to roll around if I want to go ahead and move that, and as well the engine, you know, it's very accessible. I could work on the engine before I throw it back into there. I do have a lot of plans for the Del Sol, so if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you are subscribed, because I'm going to be posting all of this video, all this work onto YouTube. I really don't touch any of my cars unless I'm recording it, or if it's just something simple such as, like, you know, possibly oil change, washing, cleaning the car. So don't worry guys, I'm not going to skip any of this, any of the issues that I have. I am going to be very transparent with you guys. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you guys are commenting and making this channel active, because I really would like to get this channel up and running and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people watching, and, you know, just do some throwed work, some throwed ideas, and just try to bring something to YouTube, to the internet, that you guys have never seen. Get with me, we're going to come at this thing hard, and everything that I build is going to be clean, functional, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it as well. So I'm not going to leave you guys out of this. But back to the Del Sol, guys. Like I said, I do have the engine out. That one hole is not threaded. The Del Sol is finally all the way down. So really what I'm trying to brainstorm is what to do next exactly, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this car, and I'm just trying to see what to put my money towards next. And, you know, I really don't want things to just sit around and take up space. But everything is in the works. But like I said, if you guys are doing this as well, just look all around the car, look at the wire harness, look at the hoses, look at the vacuum hoses, make sure everything is disconnected, And whenever you do bring out the engine, however you may bring out the engine, just make sure nothing is binding, nothing is pulling, and just go very slow with it. Now I almost forgot, I'm still doing the $200 giveaway. Before I hit 5,000 subscribers, all you guys have to do is drop a comment on my videos. So make sure you are viewing my videos and commenting on them, and make sure you're subscribed as well. So go ahead and drop a comment. I'll put your name in the mix to win the $200. It could be a comment about anything, or you could let me know what you're going to spend the money on. Are you going to make that quarter flip and get some more bread, or are you going to spend it on your car, or are you going to spend it on your family, on a vacation? Just let me know and I'll put you in the mix. But alright guys, that is going to be it for this video. That's going to be it for me. But I'll catch you guys on the next one, alright?